Welcome to Community Talk Radio. This is Project Independence and You, Talk of the Town on LIU Public Radio. I'm Kristina Liu, your host and producer, along with Otto Los, who's my friend, co-host, volunteer, Project Independence ambassador. We're having quite a show, our last show of 2024, Otto, our last live show, I should say, of 2024.
Very fast year.
Really? Right? It just like ramped up speed. I mean, I remember we've been back in the studio probably about since April, and it just seems like it was yesterday, and we were talking about the summer, and now it's winter, and it's quite cold. If you were listening to us live
we're
right
looking
now.
out the window here. It's snowing.
Is it snowing?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it is snowing. If you're listening to us live, everyone look at your window.
I don't know if it's sticking, but
Well, you know what?
snowing.
Hopefully it's not sticking, but it gives us a cozy, holiday
Christmas
vibe. Yes,
spirit.
right. Exactly. We're in the spirit here. But we talked about a very important topic in the first hour of our show. So anyone who missed that, please go back and check it out. You could certainly watch us on North Hempstead TV, which is channel 18 or 65 on Optimum, and 46 on Verizon Fios. We're also on North Shore TV. And you could check us out on the Project Independence website or the WCWP YouTube page, because there's a lot of really good shows. And this one was certainly one that was jam-packed. I mean, my paper is filled with tons of golden nuggets from our, see, Otto's got it too. Otto's looks a little neater than mine.
A lot of scribble.
Yes. But it was really important things. I love the thing about the gel pen. I'm really, that was a great one.
I actually did that.
Yeah, but I mean, because there are these little things to do, and why not do them if you could somewhat protect you, which I think is really great. And I just want everyone to remember, we don't want you running around completely terrified of the world, but you just have to be proactive, as with so many things in our life. And these things might be an extra step, and a lot of things I do that 2-step authentication. But a lot of times I opt out because I'm just like in a hurry and I'm not doing it. But what today really taught me, I'm going to actively take this with me, is to really, when that is an option, do it. Because I get it. It's an extra step.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. And I have it. I mean, I have it like on major things, but there's little things that I'm going to enact it too.
I mean, even when you log into email,
that's what I do. Yeah. I have
do a 2-step
Yep.
job.
Yeah.
So somebody else doesn't go
Yeah.
into your email.
No, because that's why I did it, because my email, it might have been, I don't even know now, like a year or two ago, got like hacked, something. And so it is important to kind of do those things and protect yourself, because it might be an extra step, but in the long run, it can protect you from so much.
Well, the extra step will never add up to the work involved if you do get hacked.
Exactly.
Or fraud,
Great point. Right.
Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah, it's just but Manda Cristal, who is from Family and Children's Association, it's just another service of Family and Children's Association that is incredible. We're so lucky to have them as partners in Project Independence, because there's so many services that they provide that are just so important. So.
Something that didn't go up on the show about scams is QR
Oh
code
yes, we didn't get. We
scams.
ran out of time with that. Right.
I just really started, due to the transition of the television to the cable to the whatever. QR codes came into play a lot, and they were very handy. They made it easier. You scan the QR code with your phone, and it brings you right to where you're supposed to go without all the.
And so many things now do that.
Yeah.
It's such a
But now we're hearing that QR codes maybe in the wrong place can be altered by the bad people and lead you to a place that you don't want to be.
Right, and I want anyone listening, you might know, we're throwing around the word QR codes. People might not even know what a QR code is.
That's a good point.
But it's a little square box, that has kind of like a barcode look to it. You'll see it now on everything. I mean, it's on flyers. Now the town's used it, frankly, for events, because you scan it and this way it'll take you to a place to get more information on it. I mean, I love a QR code too, because as you were saying with a TV, if I'm trying to log into a Netflix or something, I just scan it with my phone and boom, the login, it takes away that I have to type in everything. It's great. But when I saw this, seems like something, and I think you're right, that, right now doesn't have super friction, but it's going to grow, because I just think about it. I don't even hesitate if I see a QR code to scan it,
Well, we were at the Jet game during this past season, sadly to say.
That's all right. You know what? There's always next year.
But what they do is they play songs or they ask questions or whatever, and up on the screen, how many, 400 feet away is a QR code. And people take their phone from 400 yards away, zoom in on the QR code, and register which song they thought was the best song. To me, that was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I was one that was very involved with barcode when I first started. And when I saw this stuff, I'm saying, my, oh my, man.
Yeah. But I mean, it makes such sense. And I wouldn't even, until I did research for this, and it popped up, I was like, oh my gosh. Because you're right. Like, it's just, boom, you take up your phone. It's so easy. Just scan away, and get more information.
With your cell phone.
Right. With your cell phone that has tons of information on it.
Yeah.
And, it's definitely something.
But now what we're learning is you better be a little, pay attention to where that QR code is.
Yeah.
Who put it there. Right. And even frankly now what we're seeing is it can be altered by the bad crooks. They are crooks.
Yeah, and this is Otto's we have, which are these great tips that Family and Children's Association has. So if you would like this, I'm definitely going to try and incorporate this in some kind of newsletter or something, because it's saying, QR codes can be altered. Crooks are altering digital and physical QR codes and replacing them with malicious codes to steal login info, financial information, and money. And that's such a good point, because, it might be, a legit thing, but they're able to, stick their thing over the QR code, and then there you go, And so just the important things to do: double click on the URL to make sure you were sent to where you want to be. So that's first step. Do not download an app from a QR code. Go to the app store on your whatever kind of smartphone you have and download it from there. If a friend sends you a code, call them and make sure it is legitimate and their account wasn't hacked. Don't use a QR scanner app. Use your phone's built-in QR scanner, which is a very interesting point.
Yes, it is.
Don't use a QR code that appears in a text online or in an email unless you can verify who it came from. And that goes back to what Amanda was saying, is verify, verify, verify. Don't pay a bill using QR codes. There are more secure ways to pay a bill. So these are all things that I wouldn't even have crossed my mind.
Up until very recently, in chapter 3 of my
chapter 3, I really feel like I'm watching a Netflix show.
Transition. Chapter
chapter 3. Yes.
I mean, Dan might not like this, but chapter 3 has the cable portion. You get one with 3 remotes. Cable, the TV,
what the hell are you doing?
Amazon Prime, Fire Stick. All right, so you end up with all of them. So now I have it down to a remote. All
Wow,
right?
impressive.
But in order to get to that remote, I did a lot of QR scanning.
Yeah,
to
right.
get the apps
Right.
like Acorn or whatever onto that portion of the TV. All right. And it was very, very handy because it put you right into where you were going to go. And that, I think, had to be legit. Had to be.
Yeah.
All
He's hoping, at least, right?
Yeah.
Here's the hoping, Otto.
But I mean, now that I realize that they can be valuable, I'll probably use them again. But just today, now I learned that they could be dangerous.
Yeah.
So
I know.
you really have to pay attention to where they are. Are they up on a flyer on a wall?
Yeah.
Which they are
They
sometimes.
are, of course. That's what they're everywhere.
You want more information, like we do this Jones Beach walk, and there's the lounges open now on Sunday morning, 8 o'clock. It's cold sometimes when we walk. So you can go into this lounge, it's got couches and everything else. But just looking back on it, there's been some flyers up on a wall there with QR codes.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, just because of this,
Yeah.
maybe I better pay attention to.
No, absolutely. I mean, they're everywhere now. We use them at restaurants, boom, you click the QR code, there's it. And luckily you're at a restaurant, so you can kind of gauge a little more.
Yeah.
But, these flyer things, because it's such a great way to get more information on something. So I see the value of it. I mean, my best friend's getting married, and for her bachelorette party, she was sending all these different things, and she made a QR code that linked to all these things, and it's a great tool. But I could see where this could go awry.
Now, how did she make the QR code?
It's like that's like a whole world that I would love to figure out. It's easy. Oh, see, our
I
Wizard
used
of Oz says
to
it's easy.
know how to do it with barcode.
Yeah.
And there were many different kinds of barcode.
Yeah, it's just an app.
You
Yeah,
just type in what you want to get.
and like where you want it to lead to.
Prints out a QR code.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
But
going to make my own QR code.
there you go, QR code for the radio show, baby. But yeah, so really,
You want more information
just be
about
aware.
me?
That's, if you want to go right to Otto's
If you
headshot.
want to send, if you want to sell me money,
Otto said, if you would like me to come to an appearance,
just use this QR code.
I think, it could be Otto's appearance fee, if you want him to come to your family, your holiday event, just QR
we
code him.
just opened up a can of worms here, really.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
He's getting ideas right here. But I just want to
You
remind
want to pay
people,
me? Just scan this QR code.
but you are not.
I won't even make up a big story. I'll
There,
just,
look, he's really just workshopping his ideas here, Dan.
Yeah.
But I just want to remind people, you are not alone in this. Unfortunately, there are so many people that do not report scams because they are embarrassed, and if you're a senior, a lot of times they won't do it because they're scared their family will find out and think they can't live alone. I mean, there's so much emotional stuff that goes with this. But you are not alone. The best thing you could possibly do is report this scam early. It's of the essence, really. Time is of the essence.
you will help others also.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I love in like our advisory committees and on this show that we're able to talk about certain scams.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I
bring light
got
to them.
hit, so,
Yeah. We all have been, one way or another.
Yeah,
And you don't want to. So here's Family and Children's number once again. It's 516-485-3425, extension 2333. And I really like what Amanda said too. You have to make a police report fast too, because you don't unfortunately know how these things can spiral. And I think the more information and reporting you have, really the better. So
do you happen to have their website? Oh,
Family and Children's, I believe it's www.fcali.org.
and then you can look, there's a lot of good information about scams.
Yeah, I got all their information, actually. I went to Facebook and I found all these lovely slides, is where I found it. Yep, yeah, so it's www.fcali.org. And they're a great resource for all different things as well.
Now, very interesting, again.
Yes.
Chat GPT.
Oh, there you
Go
go.
to-
I've been using it a lot, Otto. I've really taken a page out of your book to get like quick information on something.
Yes.
And I have to say, it's quite a tool.
It is, it's
Yeah,
great.
it is. So what did you do?
Well, preparing for the show, I said, give me 10 real key points about scams.
Yeah. What a time saver, right?
Beautiful. Yeah.
I like that noise that
Yeah,
came
I
out.
mean, and it's legitimate, really good information.
No, it really, because I'm telling you, because there was something I was doing, and every time I use it, I think of you, because I was doing I needed quick information. Oh, it was for the email newsletter. I wanted like quick New Year's Eve, like resolutions for seniors, and everyone
have
will
it.
see it in the January
I
e-newsletter.
have it
And
somewhere.
and it was just great. And so that is actually in the January email newsletter because it was really concise, solid tips. So it is quite a tool, but I think it's one of the perks, the silver linings of this stuff. We don't want everyone to be terrified. You can have a lot of fun with it. I made them draw something too.
That's the one, you did it on ChatGPT?
Yes.
Of course, there's another one which I haven't used and I don't have the name in front of me, which apparently is also free, and it'll draw images for you.
Yeah.
Like give me a older senior bowler cartoon.
I love it. I would love a copy of it.
Yeah.
I could just picture a little Otto cartoon as we speak. I know it's fun, and it's one of those silly things that you could certainly do stuff with. But
There was a video of a 100-year-old lady bowling the other day on one of these things, Instagram or whatever it was. And it was impressive. This lady should have got a strike. She got a 10-pin tap,
okay.
but
Okay.
she should have had a strike.
No, but I think it's just it's those are the stories that you want to hear. And this week we had our Project Independence holiday party, which is possibly my favorite party of the entire year, because I think we have so many different people from so many different groups and organizations and different PI programs. So it's fun that everyone gets to kind of mix that might not, mix. And it was
Very
such
well attended. The room
extremely.
was at
It was packed.
capacity.
It was maxed out. And I have to say, community services did such a good job because there was a photo booth. You could make your own Santa hats. We had some trivia.
Was there any
There was
food left?
There was some not, there was some eggs left, a little bit, but there wasn't too much left because and it was quite a spread. I mean, I have to say, there was a hot cocoa bar, which is always my favorite. And the spirits are everyone's just in such great spirits.
Yeah,
so
it's
a
very,
lovely,
very nice gathering.
it's a lovely,
It really was.
lovely event. And I want to remind people that our Project Independence Advisory Committee meetings, we don't have one in January, but February 5th, we will actually be back at Clinton G. Martin Park at 10 a.m. And you could also join us virtually as well. And I scheduled a speaker who's going to talk about the importance of sleep, which she's from Northwell. She's a doctor from Northwell, because I think we could all use that. But Otto, we are at a break of our first segment already of Talk of the Town. After the break, Otto and I will continue talking about what's going on in the town North Hempstead. You're listening to Project Independence and You, Talk of the Town on LIU Public Radio.
Take WCWP with you wherever you go with the WCWP app. Listen live 24/7 to all of our streams, all from one app. Plus, call the studios directly from the app and visit our social media. Download the app through the iOS App Store on Apple devices or the Google Play Store on Android by searching WCWP Radio, or visit WCWP.org for links. The WCWP app, available now on iOS and Android devices.
Welcome back to Community Talk Radio. This is Project Independence and You, Talk of the Town on LIU Public Radio. Let's talk more about the town and what's going on. As I eat these M&Ms that are in front of me, Dan's really trying to get me as I sit here. I'm staring at red and green M&Ms in front of me. But Otto, it is the holiday season. This is our last show of the year, as I said. What are your holiday plans?
My holiday plans?
Yes, what are your holiday plans?
Well, let's see. Starting on the 23rd, our son Eric will be coming and stays at our house with his wife and two sons,
Nice.
Otto and Kieran. So he'll be there from the 23rd to the 26th.
Oh, that's so nice.
So, Christmas morning, the boys will be there. Christmas Eve, we go to our daughter Cindy, who has maintained the Italian Christmas
Fishes,
Eve
okay.
with the fish.
Nice.
She'll have about 30 people. Christmas Day, we go, fortunately, to our other daughter, Bernadette, and she'll have about 8 to 10 people. And then the next day will hopefully be a day of napping. So, it's a good schedule. How about you?
Yeah, it's nice. Well, my schedule's been kind of nonstop because on top of all the holiday stuff, I had my mom's birthday, I had my aunt's birthday, when my grandpa's, it was his birthday too. So it's a big month of stuff. But we keep the actual holiday itself very chill. On Christmas Day, it's just my immediate family. So my mom, my dad, they just have to come downstairs, which is convenient for them. My dad likes because then he could nap, midway through the dinner. And my brother,
Midway through
yeah,
the dinner.
my dad, he doesn't go straight to. He needs to be,
Sounds
horizontal
like my
at all
kind of
times.
man.
Yes, he immediately, it's eat and lie down. But then I have my brother and his fiance, and then her sister is coming this year too. So it's like 8 of us, and it's nice.
Yeah, we have Christmas is low key.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve is not low key, but it's fun.
It's nice. It's fun little traditions. It's always, and then of course on top of the 8 people, though, we have 3 dogs, which essentially is like a wild party because they're quite a handful, the 3 dogs together. It's not quiet, really. I should take that back. It's certainly not a quiet day with the yaps on these 3 dogs. But
One of the big parts of the Christmas Eve thing is actually a number of them get together and go to my daughter Cindy's house to help egg and bread the fish and stuff.
That's so much work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So they must have about 6 or 7 or more of them that do that.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
I get the fish and I bring the fish and I supervise.
Oh, you're the supervisor. I like that.
I have a bagel and a coffee while
Well,
while
that's,
supervising.
but that's also what's such a fun part is the preparation that goes into the holiday itself is just as part of the holiday. My mom and I on her birthday, we took her out to brunch, and then we did our cookie baking, which are like recipes that my grandma used to do. So we did like our Greek cookies, we did our thumbprint cookies. So that was nice. So my mom and I did that, which is
one of the things that in my era as a kid, a lot of people did was have trains run around the Christmas tree.
Yes, we were just talking about that actually in my house.
Yeah, right. And but none of them do that. Although my son-in-law actually has passed that. This is the other son-in-law, not the one you know. He actually built a little platform which hangs off the ceiling
Like that.
in the one room, and the trains run around this platform.
That's nice.
And he leaves it up there year round.
I like that. That's great because when it's on the ground, it gets a little tricky sometimes. Because when I was a little
my
girl,
father actually built a platform about the size of this table right here, where the tree would go on. It was about this high off the ground, and I would have trains going around it with switch tracks and bridges and all kinds of stuff. It was
because when I was a little girl, it was big.
Pre-television.
Yeah, but listen, I had television, but that was my dad's dad worked for the LIR, so he was a conductor and stuff. So trains were like a very big thing.
Oh yeah.
So when my dad loved, but my dad like loves things, but then they fall by the wayside. He's not much of a follow through, but would have these trains. So when I was a little girl, I just thought it was so cool to like set up the train under the. I mean, inevitably in our house would get like knocked over or something because it was like not the biggest space. But I do find there's something so nostalgic for me about the trains going around the train.
These old Lionel trains.
Yes, yeah.
And if I think back on them, they're probably getting pretty old. I had them when I was a kid, like 1938.
Yeah, wow.
So they've been around for a while.
No, I think it's fun. And I said my nostalgia also is a Hess truck. Those were really
that's
my favorite things when I was a little girl.
My two grandsons have been getting Hess trucks.
Good. See,
since
I
they were born.
Yeah, I loved getting that on Christmas. And mind you, I got so many things. But please, my dad.
So it's a girly and a guy thing.
Yep. My dad, and listen, my dad did a lot more, and this is why it shows you gender, you can do whatever you want, because my dad did more boy things with me than my brother, really. So that's neither here nor there. But he every year would get me the Hess truck, and I loved seeing like what the theme was.
Did you keep them all?
Oh, I did. Yep. Of
In
course.
the box?
Did I keep them all?
In the box?
Well, I played with them, but I also kept the box. So I have to see because they're actually in our storage unit. It's like a box of Hess trucks.
You must have multiple storage.
No,
units.
just one.
Really? The big
yes. It's not actually as big. It'd be great if it was bigger, but it's really because we needed a place to store all my grandpa's photography prints. And it was like, had temperature control and
with
stuff.
all of your holiday skills, all right, and effort, you put a lot of effort into these things, all right?
Oh, let me tell
you.
you.
had a tea party not long ago,
Yeah,
which I saw on Instagram or Facebook, one of those. And I'm thinking to myself, this girl works. I mean,
I like it.
You have all the old teacups.
Yes,
and,
well, that was actually, my aunt had that, so I have to give her a
it used to be
shout,
years ago. My mother and her friends would have coffee clutches.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
It's gotta
just
be
like
proper, right?
drinking
It's not just
coffee
proper,
out of a cup. It was like the cup with the saucer and all the frills that
Yes,
go.
I have
like
to say my
you
aunt
have
did that
a
one.
doily.
Yep, a doily.
My mother had them all over the house.
I love it. I love a doily, though.
Some of which she actually made.
That's so cool. My grandma did those too, and I love a doily.
And then, did you ever hear of a curtain stretcher? We used to have curtains.
Oh, what's a curtain stretcher?
Years ago, they would wash curtains,
Yes,
right?
okay.
Not in a washing machine, but
By hand,
wash them. And then you would have a big thing as big as these curtains with a bunch of pins on them like this. And my mother would put these curtains up on this curtain stretcher.
I remember that.
Oh, Dan just got a memory triggered.
And it'd be up there for multiple days to
But
dry
what's the point? To just to keep them
and
dry.
so it didn't shrink up. All right, it would go to its normal size, and it would dry the right way.
There you go, curtains.
But I remember having to take the curtains off for my mother and sticking my finger in the curtains.
I was like, I hated that curtain stretcher. But yes, the holidays are a lot of work, and I think it is a time for people, for different reasons. It could be, emotional or stressful, but I think being present is possibly the best because there were some days that I'm like, I am exhausted. But then I said, I'm thankful that I'm able to do these things. For our office, we did like a cookie swap, all of the women in the office. And I, of course, also had to bring like my on-the-go hot cocoa bar, which, everyone was very impressed. And Otto knows it's like party in a bag, which Otto gave me that thing. And I just whipped it out. They were like, how did this just appear? I said, because it's ready to go. I just got to, that's the key. Is the preparation, so it doesn't take me too long to set it up because I need to just get it out, get it set up, and it was a success.
Now, I'm just going to go back to curtain stretcher.
Yes, bring it back to curtain
something
stretchers.
else, all right?
Yes.
Did you, in your lifetime, ever use a clothesline or a clothes
Yes,
pole?
I did use a clothesline. My grandma, I didn't use it in my personal house, but I used to help my grandma with her clothesline. With the clothespins, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I also want to be clear, clothespins are a great thing to have around the house. I use them often for all kinds of things.
Really?
All the time. And my friends laugh at me because I'm like, use a clothespin. It's the one of the best things.
You sure you're not older than you are?
It's actually the spin on this. It's like a Christmas movie, right?
I used to be the one who had to climb up the clothes pole. We lived in a two-family house, and there was a clothesline that went for the top floor and a clothesline for the bottom floor. And I remember as a kid, I was a moron when it came to climbing. I would climb anything.
You were a boy.
I would climb. I had no fear of height as long as I could hold something with my hands.
Yeah, you're like Spider-Man.
But if I just stand on the edge, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to hold on to. But I was the one who had to climb the clothes pole and rehook it up on the top,
Wow.
with the, but I remember many times we'd bring the clothes in and it was stiff as a board because it was so cold out.
But you know what? I'm a big air dryer of clothing in general. And I always sing sometimes, right now I just stick it like in my laundry room. I was like, but like when they were outside, I remember my grandma's sheets just smelled like better. I don't know. I can't even tell you what it was.
Yeah, but do you do that now?
No, I don't have a clothesline.
I don't think anybody, well, some.
If I had a clothesline, and I would probably do it because I'm constantly air drying things.
We
'cause I don't
actually,
want
I have seen a couple of houses where they do use a clothesline now.
Yeah. Yeah, see?
It's good, fresh air.
We'll bring it is. I'm telling you,
And it
there's
is
something
snowing
about it.
out pretty good right now.
Yeah. Otto's got like a weather thing, but hopefully it's not sticking.
We'll give you the 1 minute forecast.
Yeah. We turn into a weather show. But also I want people to know we're talking about.
You could do that. You'd be good at that.
Oh my God, thank you so much. There we go. Future career guys. Call me. I'm available. I'll have to call my husband though, because I'm always like, what's the weather today? He always seems to know what's going on. But as we're talking about holidays, I stumbled upon some safety tips when you're having a holiday dinner. I feel like back in the day, we didn't necessarily pay attention to these things, but as I've had more people on the show, when we've had Cornell Cooperative, they've kind of given us some tips. Because, a lot of times if you're anything like my family, this food would be sitting out forever. Like it'll just be on the table, people are grazing, and you're not really thinking temperature and things should probably be put away, certain bacteria. So we want to keep people safe, right? So this was some really great tips. It was keep cold foods cold. Foods on a buffet can be left cold by placing food dishes in larger bowls of ice. For party trays, purchase at the supermarket, remove the lid and fill the lid with ice and you just put the tray right on top. So easy stuff. Rather than serve food from one large platter, arrange food on several small platters. Refrigerate the platters of food until it's time to serve, rotate, and so on. Follow the 2-hour rule. Chill leftovers within 2 hours. Keep the refrigerator at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below and use a refrigerator thermometer to check the temperature. You don't have to go too crazy, but I would say, keep it in there. Keep hot foods hot. Hot foods on a buffet can be kept hot with chafing dishes, crock pots, warming trays. There's so many things now that you can do. Eat leftovers within 3 to 4 days. So that's a separate
3 to 4 days?
3 to 4 days.
Only once?
You could have it multiple times, but after 4 days, that is.
How about tips on how to prepare the leftovers for the people who are getting the leftovers?
So I'm just the queen of, because I love to give leftovers to people. I'm like, get this out of my house. Let's purge this. So I actually went to the dollar store.
I'm a fan of getting leftovers.
Yeah, what I did, I went to the dollar store and I bought a bunch of the little aluminum tins that come with lids, and boom, that's it. And they were like $1 for I think I got 4 for $1 or something.
So you're prepared.
Yes, I have a lot. And then I realized I had even more,
It's
than
in
I already
another
had.
store,
Yeah,
Jerry.
it's just, there was holiday ones. I was like, I didn't even know I bought holiday ones. And just some rules of thumb while you're cooking: clean, wash hands and surfaces often. Separate, don't cross-contaminate. Cook to proper temperatures. Chill, refrigerate promptly. So just some things, we want everyone to stay safe. I was laughing with my mom because we were saying we never really thought about these things that often. And then now with social media, you're inundated with all these, things that can arise. So safety first is really the name of the game. But yes, that is my holiday tips.
What kind of meal do you prepare?
So my mom is doing a roast this year. So she'll be doing a roast because she wants to do a ham. No one wants ham besides, I'll eat a ham. I'm the least picky person. Whatever you give me, I'll eat.
Right.
But, a lot of the family won't do ham. So Barbara's a little upset about it
Really?
because she loves ham.
Now, we have the other way around.
Yeah, see?
Some people want ham.
Yeah.
They don't want
Yeah, so she's doing, she's doing a nice roast beef and mac and cheese, some string bean amandine. I'm not sure what else. She just keeps growing. But, more important than the meal for us is the endless desserts that will be provided at all times. I mean, it's just the number between the cookies we made. Then we have all these other cookies to make. Then I have to make a pudding pie because my brother requests the pudding pie, so I have to make that.
Pudding pie?
Yes, it's a crowd pleaser all the time in my
What
household.
kind of pudding?
Chocolate pudding.
Really?
I use Mighty Fine, actually,
Mighty Fine.
because
My
my
mother
grandma
used to
used to use
use
that.
Mighty
Yeah. So my grandma always used Mighty Fine, so I have to use Mighty Fine. I don't know why. It's just
My mother used to make Jell-O with grapes and fruit in the Jell-O.
Yeah. Jell-O, let me tell you, the pudding, and also rice pudding was a big staple
Rice
in my
pudding is good.
grandparents. So as a little girl, I remember talking about memories of holiday. And everything my grandma did was so neat. I wish I had my grandma's neatness. My process with my mom of baking, it's just chaos. There's just flour ingredients everywhere, but it comes out delicious. But my grandma's, everything was so tight. I remember she would have these cups.
Did she wear an apron?
Oh, yes, apron.
My
yes.
mother,
Oh,
too.
Yeah. Everything was pre-measured out. I mean, it was stunning. But the pudding would be, she'd have each of these little individual cups in and I would go to her house, and I was so excited. I was like, Grandma made rice pudding. Grandma made, Mighty Fine chocolate pudding. So yes, that is my.
Well, you bring
my
back
hot
some
tip.
memories, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
My mother, I mentioned this previously on the show, was a great cook.
Yeah.
I mean, she could knock stuff off.
Yeah.
And she was the cook in the German delicatessen,
Ah.
in the back
Yep.
room back when. And she could cook for a lot of people
Yeah.
and really good stuff.
And I'm so impressed by those people because, my grandma too, we were saying, it was just effortless. It wasn't so stressed out.
Yeah, my
I feel like if
mother-
I had to cook for so many people, I'd be like, oh my God, are they gonna like it? Do we have enough? I have a little bit my mom's tendencies. But my grandma would just do it. And it was always incredibly delicious, anything that she did. So we were just talking about
She
that,
must have liked to do it.
Oh yeah, but that's what I
like-
think it is. I
Yeah,
think
like
it's
my
just,
mother,
yes.
I obviously liked to do it, or
Yeah.
she wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. No, but it's easy, it's a fun thing. And that's what I think, as a reminder, a fun little tip for people, around the holidays, whether you have a big family, a small family with your friends, and if it's someone that's alone, reach out to them too. I think it's so important to, just make a little extra effort this holiday season for people. But I think, sharing these memories are such a fun thing. That's our favorite thing to do is reminisce on, on holidays and stuff. And I actually bought this game because, we always talk about board games, which I found in CVS, and I can't remember what the name is, but essentially it's questions for every generation. So from Gen Z to boomers, and it had all these different categories. And I thought it would be funny because we have so many different ages to play it and see what it is. Oh my gosh, Otto, but we are at the end of this segment. After the break, Otto and I will talk about holidays and what's going on in the town of North Hempstead. You're listening to Project Independence and You Talk of the Town on LIU Public Radio.
WCWP is your home for great music and great conversation. You'll find all that and more on WCWP.org. Listen live on the web, check out the lineup, subscribe to podcasts, and stay up to date on the latest station events. Get in touch with us and let us know if you like what you're hearing. And find out how you can support or get involved at the only community public radio station serving Nassau's North Shore. Plus, sign up to get a free bumper sticker. It's all online at WCWP.org.
Welcome back to Community Talk Radio. This is Project Independence and you talk of the town on LIU Public Radio. Let's talk more about the town and holidays and whatever else we want to talk about. It's our last show of 2024, Otto, so all bets are really off, for this one. But you, during the break, told me you have a new little tradition you're going to do to the
Well, I'm going to introduce this.
Okay.
And I don't want anybody from the family to listen.
Okay, so everyone, the really Lowe's family, cover your ears.
But there's a thing you can get. It's like a credit card, the size of a business card. And it has a space where you can write things, and then you cover it with like a scratch-off material.
It's literally the cutest thing ever.
So I'm writing things on there like sing Jingle Bells, different things that people should do. And I'm going to, my daughter is very good at putting name cards on the table. So I'm going to put those who I believe would be entertaining.
I like this. He's spiking the situation.
I'll put their certain cards under their
I
plate,
like this,
all right?
Otto. I hope there will be video footage of this because I really do enjoy this. Oh, excuse me. My mom texted me because she's listening. She said, I forgot to mention, which I can't believe I forgot this. It's one of the best parts. She's setting up a potato bar. So a baked potato bar, and there'd be all different. Oh, Dan is buzzing in, Mom, and mark it
Christmas?
down for. Yeah, so there'll be, you could take your own baked potato, and there'll be all different toppings, so you could put whatever toppings you want on your.
Very
baked potato.
nice. What kind of toppings?
You know what? Barbara's gonna have to text us. I'm not quite sure. I'm sure she'll have like cheese and sour cream. I think she's getting like bacon bits and all
It's
these
funny. I usually take baked potato straight.
Me too. I'm a straight plain baked potato. I don't even put butter.
But no baked potato in tinfoil.
Yes.
Do not make a baked potato in tinfoil because it comes out mushy.
Yeah.
And a baked potato
You want
should have
that
a
crispy.
good
I got you.
skin, which I eat the skin.
Yeah, me too. I love
Yeah,
the skin.
yeah,
See, Otto, I knew we were the same in
Yeah,
this.
right, there you
But
go.
yes, Mom, I hope you're listening and know
sure
that
we're
I
not
did.
related?
Yeah, we might be, Otto. This might be like some kind of Freaky Friday
Yeah.
switch off going on.
Maybe this grandfather.
That's our next movie, guys. But yes, I hope my mom is proud that I can't believe I forgot the potato bar. She was very excited about the potato bar. But yes, so there's
Now,
really
making
great
the
stuff
baked
going on.
potatoes, by the
Yeah.
way,
Oh, whoa.
that's a skill by itself.
It is.
Yeah. How does she make them?
We're gonna find out how she's gonna
She
do it
bakes
this
them.
go around. Yeah. See, I love to air fry my potatoes. I'm a big air fryer of potatoes because I like
Air
I love,
fry baked potatoes are very
I like
good.
that. It's like my favorite. 'Cause
And
I,
French fries in the air fryer.
It's just Brussels sprouts. If
Excellent.
you like Brussels sprouts too, are delicious in the air fryer. It's just so good. Sausages are
Air
great in the
fryer
air
is a
fryer
good
too.
tool, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
We
It's a
have
great.
two of them now.
I just air fried some Greek chicken sausages last night, and they were incredibly delicious.
We now have two.
Oh, you have two?
Yeah. But
Wow.
we found out we can't use them with the microwave at the same time.
Because you blew a
Not in the
fuse.
same
Yeah.
circuit.
I don't know what kind of line you think you're
In
on.
the fire department, you do that.
Well, we found out it popped the circuit.
Oh, my mom is quickly, we're getting right all hot off the press. She is going to rub with olive oil and salt and put on a sheet in the oven.
That's, in the oven.
Yes,
Okay, because I put olive oil on it in the air fryer.
Oh, see?
Yo,
Yes.
What time?
Yeah, Mom, you have to up the seating arrangements. And sea salt. I really like that she's just giving us a full menu as we speak here. But yeah, so there's fun little family traditions, and I think that's the most important part about the holidays, big or small or whatever it is to just
I
be in
think
the
one
moment, enjoying
important thing
yourself.
that people have to try to remember is that could change over time.
Exactly.
And you have to adapt
Exactly.
to what the new traditions might be.
No, and that's funny you say that because even listen, I'm not a senior, but I've seen the change. When we were little kids, we lived in a 2-family house, as I mentioned before. My cousins lived upstairs, so it was a bigger thing. My grandparents were around, so it was a big thing. And then, of course, as we grew up, everyone had their own families. Not everyone lived, 2 seconds away from each other. So it was definitely a change, and it was a shift, and all of us kind of had to adjust to it. But, now it's nice to have, and we see them throughout the year, luckily, all the time. But, and it just makes it fun too, because you're kind of extending the holiday season, because it's not just one day. You know, you can be like, oh, I'm going to go see this one on this day and this one on that day. And it's definitely something that that is a change. But you're right, Otto. It's all about adaptation and thankfulness.
I mean, you know, the Christmas Eve is different now than it was when I was 5 years old.
Right.
And when I got married, it changes also.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
And then if you're living my family, though, you know, I'm almost 40 years old, and the amount of presents my mom still buys my brother and I, you would think we were still little tiny children, because we have not grown out of that at all. But Otto, my mom is asking you to come and bring ham. So you heard that from Barbara. She is dying for ham, the poor woman. So she's going to need you to bring some ham over.
Go to Ivorone and you could probably get some sliced ham.
Sounds delicious. You know, you are making me, once again, I'm starving talking about this. But, you know, also after the holiday season ends, by the time.
Breakfast is nice too during the holidays.
That's my favorite. So that's what Jay does. So Jay will, you know, do the breakfast, because, you know, we don't eat till later. So he'll do the breakfast spread. We also bought a special kind of pancakes for dogs.
Really?
So Easy, my dog, will also, because God forbid he's, you know, not a part of the, you know, the whole thing, and he gets a special dinner made for him also by his daddy. Makes a little doggy dinner too, because, you know, he has to be in the mix of things. But I'm excited about these dog pancakes. He's gonna
Now,
like.
what do you go to a pet store? Or?
Yeah, so we found them online because
it's like a supermarket.
Yeah, so this one I actually found online because it was like all natural. There wasn't a bunch of different chemicals. I mean, because I look at what my dog eats more than I look at what I eat, actually. But it was just like, it's like banana, and there was just like 3 ingredients in it or something. I think there might have been bacon or something. So we will make those too. But also after holidays, it is going to be New Year of 2025. And by the time we come back, it'll already be, I think, it'll be the week after. So Otto, are you a resolution guy? Like, are you just, you know, you set a goal, or you just ride into the new year?
I probably over long-term resolutions.
Yes, I like that.
Like what I want to focus on. I actually do have.
He's whipping out a list, Dan. Here we go. I know there's got to be a list in here.
I'll show you what I have. This is actually.
Wow, what has he got here? I'm so intrigued.
Right here. Goals and purpose. This was done in 2020.
Okay.
All right.
So it's like an ongoing list.
And it talks about house, talks about personal priorities of what I want to do.
You're so good, Otto.
You know.
My resolution is to be more like Otto, you know, really.
Fat Jan.
And then I have down here thoughts, realistic about what can really be done.
You know, and I'm so glad you said that, because I think that you know, I've never been like a resolution person.
I'm not really. I mean,
I'm
this
like
is
you.
more of a
Goal.
plan.
No, me too. And it's like
Overview.
things I hope for, you know,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
accomplish, to be better at, you know.
Yeah, that's what this is.
But I know some people who are very dead set, right? Because you always have the friend who, you know, it's 2025, I'm going to the gym, I'm eating healthy, and then like it burns out, you know, by, you know, January's a long month, everyone. let's remember that. But I do think, you know, whatever works for you, obviously, it's nice to kind of have a little refresh, things you want to work on yourself. But I'm glad you said that, because I think so many people get, you know, upset if they do not meet their goal or not, and it is being
Well,
realistic.
I'll give you a couple of questions
Yeah,
that I
sure.
have here that I think people could find interesting.
Yes.
I have here goals for the year,
Okay.
all right? And it's broken down by house and personal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, here are questions to ask for prioritizing what should be done with my time, all right? And the first one is, does it relate to my overall goals? Second, does it have a financial impact on my well-being, all right? Whether we like it or not, we all need to have money to maintain some standard of life. And you don't have to be, I'm not looking to tour the world. I'm just looking to be able to pay bills without worrying about it. Does this priority, does it have a health impact? Does it simplify my life, which I'm kind of into? I like to try.
I'm kind of into. I like that too, Otto.
It's
you know,
not easy,
simplify.
but
It
I
is,
try
yeah.
to. All right. Is it important for my wife and my family?
Aw.
Must it be done?
Nope.
Or do I want to do it?
Yeah.
Is it just something like when people buy stuff, oh, I need to do that. Do you need it?
Yeah.
Or
Or
do you want it? Or
right.
do you need it?
Right.
a lot of things we really don't need.
Yeah, well, that's my favorite thing to say to my husband. I'm like, do you want it or do you need it?
Yeah.
Because need is thrown around a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and we want a lot of things, all right?
Yes.
But do you really need it?
Yes.
And you should, if it's not necessary, like you do stupid things sometimes, you spend half a day, something comes in, whatever, I can't even give you a good example, but it happens all the time.
Yeah.
All right? You wind up spending a half a day on something that wasn't on your to-do list.
Yes. That's kind of my story of my
And
life.
then you look back at your to-do list and you didn't do anything. But all I'm saying is I think I spend time periodically, and I used to do that in business too, where you regroup,
Yeah.
you look at these things and you think, okay, am I really going down the track that I want to go down, for whatever? And things change, health may change, family situations can change. So you kind of have to regroup. And I'm very big on taking time somewhere along the line to just sort of ponder and think about where does life fit into these things.
No, that's such
as opposed to making.
You're so good, Otto.
As opposed to making some kind of a thing that I'm going to
like grandiose, right?
Yeah, right. Like I'm going to lose 14 pounds.
Yeah, I don't, I haven't weighed myself since I don't even know what year it was. So it's really not my thing, to do something like that. I just think it's like a healthy moderation
Doesn't a doctor
lifestyle.
do that?
Yeah, I'm always like, just wing it, but I don't ever, I don't know if I just actively don't clock what it is, because if I see a number, it's gonna upset me. So I just choose not to. I'm like, as long as I still fit in my clothes and, but I do believe, I am, and Otto and I talk about this all the time, is the moderation kind of lifestyle of things. I am, as I sit here and stare at the M&Ms and the brownies I brought in, it's the holidays and I'm going to have a brownie and I need to be realistic about that. You just don't eat the tray of brownies, we want, and Mom, I'm talking to, I hope you're still listening. But it's just, I do think that it's important, as I love the questions you had, because they were just things about reflecting. And I think thinking about something is important, and being realistic about this. And I think, I'm going to hopefully, try and not be as sweat the small stuff kind of thing actively, because I do believe the impacts of stress are humongous on people and the society we're living in. So I do think that it's important to kind of have some gratitude, be in the present. When we were talking about this last week, I guess, and the speaker, Carol was saying, we spend so much of our time living in the, our subconscious and not in the conscious moment of things. And it is something you have to work at, and we talk about this all the time. Being happy and positive, you have to work on it, right? You don't just wake up, like a Disney movie.
Yeah, tap dance
with
across
birds,
the kitchen
chirping.
table,
No, I do not. I mean, it'd be cool.
I find that when you get in, and we all do, I'm sure, you get into an overload mode where you feel like there's no way I can do all this.
Yeah, right.
You get into something like this scam thing or fraud, and all of a sudden you have, like it happened to me a couple of times, you have to go to the police station to get a police report. You have to contact these 12 apps that you have because you have to change the credit card numbers.
It's overwhelming.
And you got to do all these different things. You can get frazzled and you can get in overload mode. And that's when you have to kind of take a few minutes to sit back and regroup yourself. You can do it with other people, but it always helps to start with yourself. Because we are who we are, and that's who you have to manage.
Yeah, right. That's a great tip. No, absolutely.
As came out with last week on the show, you spend a lot of time with yourself, so you better like yourself and figure out who the hell you are.
No, and you think about, I think about all the times that I've, super worried about something, and then you look back, after it's done, you're like, I spent so much time and energy stressing out and worrying about something.
95% of what people worry about never happens.
Yeah, I know. And it's really, and I just think,
fact.
And I think in this society, as we always say, it's just, there's so much all the time, and I think that that's a healthy thing that everyone that's listening could certainly do is, take those times. And because, Otto, you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time.
That's a good point.
I like to throw that in.
And some elephants are much bigger.
Exactly. There are some real big elephants out there, so you better, take those baby bites one at a time. of it. But I do think
it
that
all comes down to our mind
the mindset. Yep.
is a very, very complicated
Yeah.
tool that we walk around with.
Crazy.
And everybody's mind works differently. And you can only do with your mind what you were given. All right. Everybody comes with a different deck of cards.
Yep.
And, hopefully your mind, you have gratitude if you're blessed with a good mind.
Yeah.
And frankly, have a little empathy for people who maybe aren't quite so fortunate, because it does happen.
Yeah.
People come into this earth without really, they just weren't as blessed. They it's the way it is, all right? But people who try to do the very best with what they were given, to me, deserve a gold star, all right?
Absolutely.
And don't be so pompous about the fact how wonderful you are, because maybe you were lucky, you were blessed, all right? A lot of people weren't, and it's not their fault,
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Like I always tell people, when you came into this earth, did you fill out the checklist?
I know. I missed that checklist.
Yeah, do you want to be a male or a female? Do you want to blah, 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 blah? No, I don't remember any of those questions. You could be born, like I say, in a shack somewhere.
That's right. Listen, and I think that's a great message for everyone listening, is to have a lot of empathy, especially around the holiday season. It should be a little reminder. We hope you have it year round, but a little kindness certainly goes a long way. And I think that if everyone just did a little tiny bit, it can really make a humongous difference.
Yeah, and you want to go another step, because I've heard people from Project Independence talk about this, is some people are damaged, all right? And we as a society, and I've heard people talk about this at Project Independence, have let a lot of people down because we closed places where they could go. If people become a danger to themselves and a danger to society, we really need to have therapeutic housing for people to either be helped or at least have a safe place to be. And we don't seem to, I've never heard anybody talk about it.
Oh, well, that's who knows? We never know where the next year will. But I want to remind people, if you are listening and the holidays, you need some help, whatever, dealing with whatever it might be, you could always call 311 or 516-869-6311 and connect to one of our amazing social workers and nurses. I've seen them, and a shout out to them. And speaking of being grateful, Project Independence is such a special program for so many people, and I saw the effort that these social workers and nurses put into little group celebrations that they did. I mean, the Blankets of Love is just one example, but they crochet these incredible blankets and donate them to wonderful causes. They gave them out at our holiday party, raffled off, and they did 289 blankets they donated this year.
Yeah, wow.
And 80 hats, 22 shawls. It was 20 different organizations that they gave their beautiful things to. And it's just to see people who are just, it's such a great group, because not only are they socializing, but they're giving back. And I think it's just so amazing. There's so many little gems within Project Independence. So a shout out to all of our staff, social workers, nurses, who are really making a difference in their lives.
That's a town support.
Absolutely. The Town of North Hempstead. It's really an incredible, and I'm so glad that.
The good thing about things like that, I don't know how to do what they do.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of pride in what they do.
And as they should.
And rightfully should the social worker who runs that program
Andrea. Shout out to Andrea.
have a lot of pride in that whole thing.
Yeah, so great stuff. And please,
positive contribution.
2025, everyone, sign up for something within Project Independence. We have so many different programs and services, and you can listen to this show, and we will tell you all about them. I want to thank everyone for listening to Project Independence and You Talk of the Town. I'd like to thank you, Otto, for another great show, another great 2024 year together. Project Independence and You is a production of Long Island University Public Radio, and a special thank you to Dan Cox, who makes this all possible. Join us again next Friday at 10 a.m. on LIU Public Radio. Goodbye, have a great weekend, great holiday, and a great new year.